What up, YouTube? It's your boy, Detroit Love, with another video. And today we're going live to talk about the subject of Arcade1up. Should you build your own home arcade with Arcade1up in 2024 and beyond? Interesting topic. Stick around. Let's check it out. What's going on, Jason Little Alien? How you doing, brother? It's time to get Friday started live, with just Detroit Love at this point in time. What up, Devil Waldo? Just getting an early start, getting a jump on tonight, the weekend, and see who's out here. Want to say hello to everybody. Let Arcade1up. That is the question. That's the question of the year, right? Everyone's got an opinion on it. And so I have an opinion on it. So let's talk about it. Let me get the comments up there so you guys can chat along if you want. Overlay that to the screen. If you indeed want to get your voice out there and be heard on this topic. And so I think it's very interesting that people have such strong opinions on this, whether they own them, whether they own one, own none, or own many. I think it's a very interesting thing. Oh, thanks, Devil Waldo. So I'll say this. The transformation of my man cave game room has dramatically changed as a result of Arcade1up. So for some people, it's like a bad, like an old girlfriend, right? Or a divorced wife or something. It's like the emotions that they have with this company seems to be that of such. It's like they were married to Arcade1up and then they got divorced and now they just don't want to have anything to do with them. Others say I'm not going to quite divorce them, but I'm not going to show them any love, right? I just can't bring myself to show any emotions toward them anymore. You know, it's just crazy. It's just crazy that that it goes to this level. But I will say this: my game room looks incredible today. I still don't have any walls, right? Still got my Dexter walls down here, and that has nothing to do with Arcade1up. But I am just delighted that they came into the home arcade arena in 2018, because before then I had boxes. I still have boxes of the packaging, the boxes that my gadgets came in. I had those displayed like a mountain of boxes. It was the most ridiculous thing. But for some reason I thought they were cool. I just didn't. I hold on to my boxes because I think I'm gonna get rid of things, but I never get rid of anything. So I end up having these boxes around. Now I have big boxes with little boxes behind the curtain back there with the Oz, the wizard, right? But Arcade1up, let's talk about it. Let's just get it out there, because some people are not happy that they're not making new cabinets, right? It's like, I got all the cabinets and they're not making any new ones. But I say they're still making the old classic cabinets available. You see Mortal Kombat 2, you got Bandai Namco, the Legacy Miss Pac-Man, you got the Legacy Yoga Flame. These are just the standard. These are the standard cabinets with no fanciness, right? You can get the OG Pac-Man, and you can get these cabinets for $2.99, right? $299. If you want to get the riser, then you can get a riser as well. But if you don't want a riser, you can get the old Mortal Kombat. Look at that, $89. Oh, that's the counter kit. I'm sorry. I got to get used to. I'm sharing the screen here, looking at it up there. Okay, but you can get these. You can get these cabinets $299. So that's basically what we used to get them for back in the days. So for people, I'm blurry. What am I blurry for? Why am what? Why am I so blurry? Who knows? I think I know why. Because I was trying to upload all these videos. Let's see here, and now I'm clogging up my. Let me cancel these. Let me cancel these uploads. Let's do that. Cancel. And you let me know if I'm no longer blogging. It was a bunch of videos. I don't know. I started to do this last minute, and then I started uploading those videos. All right, so I canceled all of them. Let me know if I get better. No, I don't think it's the background. I use that quite a bit. So I'm no longer. So let's see what you guys have been saying here. Yeah, again, I have a good mix of all the different companies, and they all offer something different. But by far, Arcade1up offers the most variety, right, of cabinets, right, different cabinets. If you buy at Games Legends Ultimate, the ideal is that you don't need more than one, right? So if you're happy with what you do with that, with coin ops, right, those type of things, then you don't need. Everybody's going to be different as far as what they can hold in their apartment, in their home, in their garage, or wherever they put these things at, right? And if you can't put one of these in there, then it's a good chance that you won't be able to put a real arcade cabinet, right? So we're not talking about the people that want to get real arcades that have all that space and have that room to be able to put a full size 40-year-old plus arcade cabinet in their home arcades. We're talking about people that don't want to deal with those, that want to have some type of alternative. Yes, they can buy if they can still get an iArcade, if they can get a at Games product, they can do that. But the subject of the day is Arcade1up, because they still first on the scene. It was by itself for a while. Had the Legends Ultimate come on early. I think a lot less people would have basements full of 1-ups. And again, I don't think Arcade1up ever intended for people to have basements full of these cabinets, right? And so I think that's where the frustration is, because people who with basement full of Arcade1ups keeps thinking that they have to keep releasing these cabinets. But the ideal Arcade1up, they're still making these cabinets available because there's still millions of people who don't have a single arcade cabinet in their house, right? And so they're appealing to the masses, but they need spokespersons, and so there's fewer and fewer people willing to say good things about Arcade1up. I've had plenty good things to say about Arcade1up and plenty bad things to say over the years as they grew, right? We started off with these cabinets like this. I started off with the Galaga and the Street Fighter Championship Edition, and I modded the heck out of it because I just wasn't satisfied with this $300 product. Let me take off this thing. And so I wasn't satisfied with this 3/4 no riser. So I bought risers, right? Made them a little taller, foot taller. But it's great that they still make these available for people that want to get in, don't want to spend a lot of money. They can do that. They can get, let's just go back to all arcades. They can get the full size or XLs now, right? They can get the deluxe cabinet. They have a lot more options than we had when we got started with. Back in 2018, we didn't have any choices. All we had was whatever cabinets they had available for that one size without the riser. We had to add on the riser extra after the fact. But today, people have a lot more options to get Arcade1up. And remember, Arcade1up, they came out with the counter cage, which I modded mine, and I have battery operated version of it, and I have it modded with a Raspberry Pi with one, and I can play all my vertical games. And then my what do you call that girl? Miss Pac-Man version just has battery operated, otherwise it's stock. We used to have to do so many things to it for it to look the way they look today. We had to add our own backlit marquees. We had to add our own coin doors. We even had to add our stripping. If we wanted red stripping like this Pac-Man looks here, right? We wanted to look like that. We used to have to add that stuff. And so you don't have to add all those things. So the price to me is justified. And again, because they work with all these different vendors, these retailers, you're able to get deals and them cheaper than what they may offer it on their website. Or you may not be able to find them, right? But you have a lot more choices than what we had, even if they're limited in availability today. Let's see. Devil Water says they still have some fans, but not as many. Again, not as many vocal fans, right? Most people who buy these cabinets, they buy them, they take them home, and they just play them, and you never hear anything from them because they just bought the cabinet. And that's obviously where they've sort of built the market to. They worked with us and had us buy what we call the early adopters, bought them and said, hey, it would be great if these things had T-molding, or at least faux T-molding. These things would be great if they had backlit marquees. These things would be great if the screen was tilted on Pac-Man like it was. It'd be better if these cabinets weren't just this cookie cutter version that they all look the same but just had a different game in it. How about it looked like Pac-Man did, right? And how about a faux coin door, because we like the idea of having a coin door. And get rid of the banner with all the games, right? They've evolved these things to be ready for the masses to be able to buy and enjoy. And I've said it countless times, why be selfish in thinking that because I'm not satisfied with the next version, that the next man who's never had an arcade in their home shouldn't be able to be pleased by being able to buy, say, Pac-Man in this example, right? So I think it's a great thing that they're still making these and making them available for anyone that wants it. Galaga, now with a tilted screen, right? Oh boy, I got my OG Galaga and I got it modded. Boy, I would have loved to have had this version of the cabinet to be able to play all my games in. But that's just not the fact. But today, people are able to do that. Steven says, Ramsey says, I just made room for 3 to 4 more cabs. Absolutely. People have been talking about, Arcade1 is dead, they're dying. Yeah, the number of licenses that they have available may be shorter than what it was at one point in time. Maybe it's tougher to get these things to market, but the licenses that they still have, they're still making available. And I think that's fantastic. Again, for the people who don't have one, they should be able to come pick these things up. And what a great value you can get this looking the way it looks today, and without having to go through all the third-party vendors like we had to do, right, to make all these different changes. You're able to buy these cabinets today looking the way you want it to do. Now, whether you want to get a time crisis, you guys all know I've been enjoying my light guns, and I still recommend adding the PC to your game room and doing it that way, because you just have way more options. But again, Arcade1up is not about having all those options, right? You can modify these and even buy stuff. Arcades in Canada have made mods for these things so that you can be able to put the retro shooter into things like this. So the joy of these cabinets for me day one was the fact that I can buy the cabinet itself minus whatever game they had into it. I can buy a cabinet that looks incredibly nice, sturdy. I don't have to cut wood and paint wood and putting stickers on wood. I could get a cabinet and then put whatever I wanted into it. So the modding options are still out there. JC still runs the Arcade1up modding group. There's another copycat one that's out there now, and they both have over 20,000 people. I think bigger numbers than any of those other standalone groups have, because people still have a desire to mod these things. And modding is just such a wide variety of ways you can mod it. Some people simply mod it to have a different skin on it. Other people mod it to put a real coin door, or they put, lit up buttons, or various different things, or they put a PC in it, or Raspberry Pi. What up, 19K Fox? There's a lot of different ways you can still mod these things, and I think they're great. And so I think the question of the day is: should you build your Arcade1up? Not for the people who already have a game room. Should new people consider Arcade1up, who doesn't have any arcade cabinets, that don't want to have full size arcade cabinets in their house, garage, game room? Should they consider Arcade1up today in 2024 and beyond? I say the answer is still resounding yes. When people come over to my house and come into the game room, they are amazed that this is even possible. They didn't even know this was possible. But each week we get together and talk about these things, and each week there's millions of people that don't even know we exist and don't even know that these cabinets exist. So I am delighted that they indeed are available for new people to be able to get into this, to get these cabinets into their homes and be able to enjoy these games. Because remember, back in the day, I'm 57. I remember a day when there was no options for this, and this was way before 2018, right? When we went to the arcades, and boy, we wish that we could take these arcades home with us. And Atari and all these other ColecoVision and all these different people made these very terrible versions of these games and allowed us to take them home and hook them up to our TV and have a lousy experience. But we were able to have an experience outside the arcade. And I think people having these cabinets in their homes today is introducing this to a new audience, a younger group of people that just didn't even know, have never been in an arcade. They don't even know what an arcade is. But when they come into your house and see these arcade cabinets, I think they will enjoy them, as my nieces and nephews have definitely done. I completely agree, Carl. A PC is a great catch-all that you can connect to your cabinet with your favorite art and make that your multicade if you don't already have one. So yeah, the Raspberry Pi is definitely still a very affordable way to be able to play the old school arcade games, because they don't need a whole lot of power. But if you want to get into the more modern stuff, fancy stuff, PC definitely gives you a lot more options. And like my PC here, it hooks up to my At Games pinball, and I can play pinball through my PC on that. And so it's just located close enough where that can happen. I have PCs that I can just throw in there if I wanted to do so. I just too lazy to do so. But I definitely love that my arcade looks the way it looks today, as a result of all of these companies coming into this market. But definitely Arcade1up, because if you count all my cabinets, Arcade1up is the majority. And I think for the market, they offer the majority of options, different cabinets that you can buy. So clearly, they're going to be something that someone would have to consider if they want to be able to play all these different games, to be able to just walk into a store or go online and purchase a cabinet that looks beautiful, that plays excellent games. So Ralphie says, I love coming home from work and being able to walk into a home arcade of my own. Absolutely. And that is the experience that I think, if I will not be selfish for myself, I would love to be able to share this passion, share this opportunity. And I am delightful that Arcade1up and the other companies are making these products available, because everybody should be able to have that experience of coming home from a hard day at work, flicking on the switch, or having one of your smart devices turn on all these devices and get to play. Whether you have it stock, or if you decide to mod it as Stephen has done with his most played cabinet is his modded Gen 1 Centipede. Oh boy, I wish I could have gotten the Gen 1 vertical Centipede. Everyone has come after. I got this Tempest back here with the wide version of Centipede. It's so ridiculous, and they still have not made a vertical Centipede again. It just blows my mind. It's just ridiculous. Um, the new people deserve to have a vertical Centipede to play it the way it's designed to be, um, on an XL cabinet for sure. Um, and Steven says he has 20 cabs, not including pinball. So I think we I think that new people coming in should, in fact, have the ability to buy these. I'm thankful that these companies are still around. I'm thankful that these companies are not dead, right? And so the question is, should you, not you guys, that's in the chat, because you already know about Arcade1up, you already know about um, let me get this chat thing out of the way. You guys already know about Arcade1up. Should you, new person that that's coming across this video, should you build your arcade, your home arcade with Arcade1up? And I say that you should, because they offer some awesome options. If you want to have cabinets that resemble the real one, if you don't just want to have one single cabinet that's a multi-cave, modded to be a multi-cave. Um, but know that this, if you decide to do this, there is forks. There are forks in the road. There are possible forks in the road. If your budget allows, your wife allows, and your spacing available room in your house allows, uh, you may go down some dark roads, some lit roads, some bright roads. You may decide, now I want to get full side cabinets, or I might want to get, I might want to modify my cabinet. I want to do things. I want to decorate the rest of the room. This one cabinet usually springs on to be something else and something additional. So and I think that's what most of us learned when we complained about the price. Like, oh my goodness! So if we were doing it today, we were coming. We say, oh my God, it's $4.99 for this Street Fighter Deluxe. Oh my goodness, it's $5.99 for this Big Buck Hunter. Um, but the reality of it is, you're going to pay more money than that if you decide to get into this, because you're going to want to do. You're either going to want a different cabinet, a new cabinet. You want to modify a cabinet, but a good chance that you are going to want to spend more money uh, without even thinking about it. A vertical 19-inch Centipede XL will sell very well, but so will a 17 Deluxe. I love the bigger monitor. Um, Strangely enough, I have not modified any of my cabinets to include a larger monitor. The largest monitor being uh, the what is this thing? Killer Instinct Pro. It has 19-inch. Um, so bigger is better. That's what she said. So I do agree. And third parties like Tulsa Arcade has made those monitor upgrade kits, and hundreds, and if not thousands, of people have upgraded their monitors. They're still. Let me put the comments up here on the screen so you guys can have your verbiage. You guys if they should purchase one of these, right? They're not sure if it's a good idea to buy one of these cabinets, and I would say it definitely is. Um, it definitely is still a great idea to do. I am thankful that they still have these arcade cabinets available, um, so that people can enjoy these games, because these are the classic games I love. And you have lots of different vendors to buy them from. What's going on, Al? Yeah, Centipede was one of those games that the ladies definitely, it definitely got more ladies into the arcade back in the day, because of Centipede. No doubt about that. Uh, and and then you have this Wheel of Fortune Casino Cade. Has anybody, and what's going on, Al? Has anybody else purchased this? I don't have this. I would be interested to see if my wife likes this. I'm just not $500 interested, you know. But if I can catch one of those on sale, I definitely would grab one of those. Even though she told me not to buy it, I think she would enjoy it. Blitz is still one of my favorites. When people come over, this Blitz gets lots of play, lots of play. Um, yeah, and Stephen, the Glenn's Retro Show, which his show is going to be starting at I think 8 o'clock today. Kicking it old school. Definitely check out Glenn. Um, yeah, Dan the Man. Yeah, they are toys. I don't understand why people make that comment. They're overpriced. People argue arcade cabinet is a well overpriced toy. It's a toy as well. The real arcade and these Arcade1up toys still are just playing the same old school arcade game. So um, that argument, I think, is just a ridiculous one. But it's your argument and your opinion. But yeah, you're playing uh, these games, whether they're ROMs or authentic or not. People are getting to enjoy these games. So, but again, it's no big deal if you want to pay for and make room for real arcade cabinets. Hey, who cares, right? That's your love, your passion, how you want to spend your money. Um, this is not, and that's I don't understand the people that get into the thing that, oh, I, I like Apple, so I gotta hate Samsung or Google Pixel. I like Tesla, so I gotta hate all these things. Well, that's just so childish. It's just so childish, in my opinion. You buy what you want to buy, and if someone chooses to buy something different, why purposely go into those forums and go into those groups trying to downplay and make people seem like they're less human because they're not buying real arcade cabinets, or they're not buying a Tesla, or they're not buying an Apple product. That's so childish and immature. I don't get that. Uh, I understand why, because people have to puff themselves up, um, and they can look down and say, "Oh, I buy Arcade1up, so I don't buy IRKs." Stop with the childish stuff. That's so silly. All of these things are just entertainment devices. Whether you think they're toys or you think they're authentic arcade cabinets, either way, you're playing the same. You're playing the same things. And women think your fancy cars are just toys. It's irrelevant. If you want it, buy it. If you don't want it, don't buy it. But let's be grown men. Let's make intelligent arguments. Let's not name call and do all that silly childish stuff. What's the benefit of that? I don't get that. Um, Everything has a price. Everything is saying everything has a quality, a standard, and there's different degrees of what you want to spend your money on. Um, if I have the room to put full arcades in here, I don't want 40-year-old cabinets with mouse poo and rat pee, and wood that's molded and all those type of things. Those are the type of things you come with, and I don't want to renovate those old cabinets and make them like new. I don't want to spend even more money on them to buy a premium one that someone had in the a temperature controlled environment, right? All those are options. All those things are options. I love these uh, overpriced toys, as Dan the man would call them. They're the perfect size. Though I do like the pro size with the full cabinet without the riser. But I do like the riser option when I move them because there are two pieces and I get to move them separately. So to each their own. But uh, but the point is, people should have options. People should have the ability to buy what they want and what they like. Um, what's going on? What's going on? All is well. Just getting an early start on my Friday night live chatter. Just wanted to come out here and talk to you guys and just get your opinions. I'm not going to agree with all of them. You're not going to agree with all of my opinions. That's perfectly fine. But the question of the day is whether people should build their arcades with um, with Arcade1up. You know, with all these available options of cabinets, is it still a viable option today in 2024 as compared to 2018 when they first came out? And I would say the answer is yes. And and but Dan the man's option, consideration is something to consider. If you think by for a chance that you might want to get a full size arcade cabinets, then do you take this stepping? Do you take this baby step into this uh, field of the home arcade of arcade cabinets, or do you just save up and get a full size? If that's something you're interested in, consider that because a lot of people have purchased these and then moved on to get the full size. Um, and those same people were complaining that these cabinets were, oh my God, $299, $399, $499. Those same people were complaining that these cabinets were that price, yet they paid thousands for real size arcade cabinets because the there's no other feeling. There's no other feeling than walking up to this cabinet because we can play these games. There's no need to buy any of these cabinets, buy any of these toys, buy any of these things because we can play these same games on Xbox and PlayStation on our PC and project them on our screen and project them on the wall with projectors. There's a bazillion different ways on our handhelds, on our tablets. We can play these things on many different ways. But there's something about walking up to that cabinet, and for me, it's also something about putting that quarter in. That's why two of my cabinets have a real coin door where I can actually put in coins because there's something about walking up to that cabinet, grabbing that joystick, and playing the game that you love. It's just nostalgic. Um, Even the kids may come over. It takes them away from the TV. It doesn't tie up your TV like those other consoles does. It doesn't tie up your family room. You have a dedicated cabinet, a dedicated space for people to walk up and be able to enjoy those games. So there's arguments. There's a lot of options, a lot of arguments, a lot of discussion, and that's simply what we're doing, discussing those things. And the discussion of the day is: should people who do not have a arcade cabinet in their house, real or faux, right? Toy or real, expensive or inexpensive, they don't have any cabinet. Do you guys think that they should have a cabinet in their house? For one, right? Should they have a cabinet? And let's just start with cabinet. Should they have a cabinet, whether it's real, whether it's three-quarter scale, whether it's a multi-K? Do should they have a dedicated cabinet that they should walk up to? Let's get that question out the way. And this thing has a little delay, so I'm gonna give you guys a chance to chime in. And chime in. Yes, no, doesn't matter what the answer is. Chime in. Do you believe that people should have a cabinet in their house? That's the first one. Should they have a cabinet? That's not even talking about real arcade, who the maker is. Should they have a cabinet? Um, and for me, obviously, it's yes, because there's nothing like walking up to that cabinet and playing a game you love to play with your on your own or with friends. When family and friends come over, they all want to come down. I have my next door neighbor. His brother's been coming over for years, And his brother's been telling him about my arcade cabinets down here. And he said, hey, he got a few arcade cabinets down there. And he finally made it over the other day, a couple of weeks ago, uh, around the new year. And he made it over. He says, my brother grossly underestimated or understated um, your man cave. He said this place is phenomenal. It's awesome. And he bounced from cabinet to cabinet playing these cabinets. And he's a younger guy. So he didn't grow up playing most of these games, but he enjoyed these games because there's nothing like walking up to a cabinet and playing a game you love and playing a cool game, playing something that is fun to play. Um, and so the answer to that first question, in my opinion, is yes. I think every household that has a game room, that has a man cave, should have, what's going on, Iceman? Should have a cabinet, regardless of who the maker is, whether it's real, whether it's faux, whether it's 3/4, whether it's full size, whether it's by At Games, Arcade1up, that doesn't matter. Okay. So we've established they should have a cabinet. Now, if you look at the multi-cades, uh, if we look at the multi-cades that are available, obviously none of these things are going to be inexpensive. So and all these things are going to be overpriced to anybody considering it. That's just a reality. Whether you're talking about multi-cade, whether you're talking about super cade, all these different names, Rec Room Masters, and all these different people that make Tulsa Arcade, all these people that make arcades, they are not going to be inexpensive. Period. Whether it has a PC in it, whether it has a Raspberry Pi in it, no matter what is operating that cabinet, it will not be cheap. Okay, let's just get that. It will not be affordable. These are luxury items. These are things that people want, not need. And so they pay what they want for that want. They want a cabinet to do what they want it to do. They want a cabinet that plays what they want it to play. They want a cabinet that has the theme or the look that they want. Therefore, they pay for what they want. Okay? These aren't necessities. These aren't things that people have to have. And so they pay the price of admission. Okay. And so they can pay for a full arcade cabinet. They can pay for a modded cabinet that they put their own PC, a shell that they put their own cabinet in, put their own artwork on it. They can pay for cabinets to be ready made, like this Blitz here from Arcade1up. They can pay for many different things. They can do those things if they wish. And it looks like someone is joining in on the live broadcast. And so we're going to welcome in P-Dubs. What's going on, brother?
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of Super Game Room Dudes. I'm your host, P-Dubs. With me, as always, is Detroit Love, Michael B.
You're a little early for that, brother. What's going on, man? It's just us two.
Am I
just
in the
like
wrong
back
room?
in the day.
Is this the wrong room?
Nope, it's not the wrong room. You just early. When you come in early, there's no telling what you're going to find. You are now in the D-Love cave.
Oh, crap. I'm sorry, man. I came into the wrong thing.
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Oh,
Happy
I'm
Friday.
okay. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I'm just getting our show set up for later because Michael B wasn't able to do it. And I was like, why don't we have a show scheduled for tonight? And Michael B's been out and about all day. Usually he's been scheduling, putting the, getting everything set up.
Right. Absolutely.
Stuff like that. How are you doing? How's the audience? How's everybody?
Everybody is good to go.
Yeah. So what were you talking about?
We're just talking about, I'll put it up here one more time. The topic of the night was right here. Should you build your own home arcade with Arcade1up in 2024 and beyond?
That's a good topic. Well, where did you land on that? Should they or shouldn't they?
I think I started off this way. I think, or I ended this way. I think everybody should have a cabinet in their house. That's undebatable, right? Everybody should have a cabinet, whether it's a
Like
real cabinet, a
some
full,
sort of arcade machine.
yeah, some sort of arcade. I think if you have a game room, a man cave, you have to have a cabinet. There's no debate about that. Whether it's
Hmm.
full size, even if you have like a numbskull or the new wave toys to have this decoration on your bar top, right? Or if you have an Arcade1up countercade, I think
Yeah.
everybody should have a cabinet because that's just
Hmm.
that's just so manly, right? To have a
Hmm.
cabinet, arcade cabinet, you gotta have it. Can't have a man cave. If you out there in the world have a man cave and you don't have an arcade cabinet, you're doing something wrong, and you
Hmm.
should do something right. Okay, so yeah, so I think everybody should have a cabinet. And so, speaking of all the different options at games, iArcade, Arcade1up, full cabinets, Rec Room Masters, all these different multi cage, right? All these different options. You know, all those things are expensive. All those things are what people want. People talk about the price, and you and I know, you were definitely one of the people that started off with just Arcade1ups, right? And then you have full cabinets, right? You have full pinball. You've evolved into that. Um, and
Yes.
at the time when you bought those, you said these things are expensive. Who's going to pay $299, $399, $499, whatever that price was? It was so high. But today you can buy a $14,000 cabinet and be happy with it, right? Because you want is what you want, and that's my
Yeah.
point. Whether you get in here talking about pricing, that's going to get blown out the window because ultimately it comes down to what you want, and if you want it bad enough, you're willing to pay whatever that cost is so that you get what you want. And so specifically about Arcade1up, they still today in 2024, despite not having come out with many new options for people that have a room full like me of Arcade1up cabinets, is still a viable option for people who do not yet have their Arcade1up cabinet or their cabinet. They don't have a cabinet of any type in their house. Arcade1up still has the most options. They still have the most, whether you buy it directly from them, from a retailer, or even buying it from people like you who've sold yours, right? You've sold many of yours on the aftermarket, right? So you can go to
Oh yeah.
Facebook Marketplace and you can buy these cabinets. So you don't even have to buy them at full price. You can buy many of them aftermarket. So I'm just saying, if you don't have a cabinet today, there's a lot of options out here, and there's a lot of affordable options. But again, if you come into this thinking talking about affordability, you are misleading yourself because eventually you're going to get what you want. And so if you're thinking about if you have your mindset on something bigger, I would say just save your money and get that, because this is just going to be a stepping stone. It's going to be an entry into this, and once you get that bug, you're going to end up like either with me with a bunch of these, or you're going to end up like P Dubs, where you selling these off and you buying what you wanted in from the beginning. Am I just blowing smoke?
Nah, man. I think. Wow, what a story, and how true is that for a lot of people? I think a lot of people could speak to that, Carl. Where a lot of people got into this niche because it's supposed to be a cost-effective niche, and over time, this hobby is no longer cost-effective. You have to have the space in your home. You have to have the disposable income and the real desire to go and buy these arcade and pinball machines, even if they're from Unico, Arcade1up, at games. I mean, guys, the prices now, these things are what, $1,000 a machine now? I mean, it's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money. So unfortunately, this isn't the hobby it was back in 2017, 2018 when it first started, and it was a $300 hobby was the high end, and then but keep in mind you'll be able to get one for $75 back in the day. Remember that?
Yeah,
The $75 Arcade1ups.
the fire sales.
Yeah. And then a lot of people who, take the chance on these products, they end up saying, "Man, the reason I bought these products is because I love they're recreations of something that I really loved from back in the day. And you know what? I'm going to roll the dice. I'm going to take the chance and I'm going to buy that original item." Right. And so then they end up picking up a real arcade, a real pinball, or they go nuts and they get something more high end, like a high end multicade or a high end virtual pinball, things like that. So, I mean,
And like I said, you can still get the 299 with no riser, right?
Oh yeah.
And buy your,
Yeah.
so cost of entry still is still low. It depends on which what you want to get. And at the
Yeah.
time in 2018, we just had the option of whatever was out, right? Street Fighter, then Galaga, right? And so today you have a lot
Mhm.
more options than what we had, and they're much better than even at this price. This is a much better product than what we had to begin with, and that's my point, right? We may not be happy with the path it took for them to get here, right?
Right.
And the growing pains that they had at our expense, right?
Yeah.
Upside down marquees, missing parts, all those things. But today, people are able to go and buy, at the entry level, they have a few different
Yeah.
options like this to buy, and all the way up until the newer, bigger ones, right? The XLs and all those type of things. So
Yeah.
I think it still is a viable option. I don't think Arcade1up's dead. Maybe it's dead for people who's been in it since 2018, right? Again, I don't understand that train of thought because I still enjoy walking up to my cabinets and playing them. Whether they came out with a new one or not, it doesn't change the fact that Golden Tee is still fun for me, right?
Oh
Or
yeah. I
or my
wish I still had my Arcade 1up Golden Tee. I wish I never got rid of that.
yeah,
I
I
wish
mean,
I never got rid of that.
yeah, and I've not sold any of mine. Even though if I was to sell any of these things, to be Big Blue because I never play Big Blue. Yeah, because I can play all those games on different cabinets, right? I
Hmm.
bought that because it was the first one where you can do what they call it, P-Dubs, where you can watch people, um, where you can watch other people fight, real people fight,
Oh, spectate.
spectate mode, right? You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
I went to check that out. But again, I think these things are still great. Again, I don't understand how it doesn't. It's not no longer fun for people they because they because I started to show off saying to some people it's like a ex-wife. It's like Arcade1 is an ex-wife now. I don't want to have anything to do with them because you know what I mean because they did me wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that still
But
doesn't
but
make
if she showed up at your house with a really nice dinner and was wearing something sexy, you'd think about it.
I wouldn't.
Well, you know what I mean.
I was just messing.
You know what I mean. Like,
Yeah,
let's just
absolutely.
say ex-girl, like your ex-girlfriend, Arcade 1up's that ex-girlfriend. One day she's gonna show up, let's just say, with that Robotron cabinet, perfect shape, great controls, beautiful marquee, the artwork, and she's gonna be wearing something sexy, bringing you a little dinner. You might let her in the house. You might let her in the house if she comes knocking. You know what I
Right.
mean? So,
And if she
you
doesn't,
know,
shouldn't somebody else out there be able to enjoy that ex-girlfriend?
yeah.
Should be so selfish that because she's my ex, nobody gets to
She's your problem.
enjoy?
Take her.
Yeah,
She's your problem.
somebody should be able to enjoy it. You know what I mean? And that's the same way I feel about
I
Arcade One.
agree.
Even though for some people it's like a bad relationship that they don't have want nothing to do with, but for new people who don't know the history, they get to come and see the new improved girlfriend with makeup on now, right? And she's all
Yeah.
fancied up and beautified now. She's learned from her ways, and now she's better. Should her past influence her next quarter? I
Hmm.
don't think so. I think Arcade1up still is a valid option for people that are considering having that first cabinet in their house. But again, if you want to have a multi-K, and we talk about this 2018 prices, right? But prior to 2018, if you wanted to have a cabinet, you had to go with Rec Room Masters and those people like that, and those things were
Yeah.
not cheap. Those things were not
Yeah.
cheap. You know,
I think people forget that the home arcade space was around long before Arcade 1up.
it was very
Like people
expensive.
people have been making MAME cabinets, 60-in-1 cabinets, JAMA cabinets. People have been doing this stuff for years, right? It's
Yes.
just it's just, companies like Rec Room Masters and others, like it's expensive, right? I mean,
Yep.
it's expensive. So Arcade 1up comes in with a cute looking product at a cheaper price point, and during COVID is a perfect timing for them.
Yeah, it was.
COVID was the best thing to happen to Arcade 1up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and now
So
that people have other options, now they're like, I don't love
yeah,
you anymore. You got to go. You
yeah,
know.
yeah,
But
yeah,
so we going on. I'm going an hour here now. But I just want to get in early and get this subject out here because it's been a lot of people talking down and negative things. And I say, yeah, they over the years they have definitely had some negative things that was worth talking and should have been talked about. But I think we've helped improve these things from day one product to the last thing that they've released. Those aren't the same products, right? And so even for the price standpoint, we can't really compare those two because they're two different products. But I am glad that they still are hanging around and making these available for new people, not so much for me because there's very few cabinets that will come out that would compel me to go buy another one, right? Because I got a whole arcade of them, right? So it had to be. I don't even know what that cabinet was. Silver Strike, if they ever came out with that one, with Golden
I
Tee
don't
or
know, man. You
Muammar,
got plenty of
you
square
know,
footage in that basement. You
I,
can fit
I
a few
do,
more in there. You can fit
I
a
do,
few
but it
more.
had to be pretty compelling. But for someone who doesn't have one, that decision
Mhm.
is a much simpler
Oh,
decision.
I'm about to make you jealous. You ready?
Okay.
So you know how you've been getting into light guns lately?
Hmm.
Guess what arrived yesterday.
Show me.
Well, I
Can't
don't
tell
have
me.
it. It's downstairs.
Okay.
Glenn's shotgun.
Oh
Is
man, that
in,
thing is nice and solid, man. That thing. Have you played that or still in the box?
no, it's still in the box. I
It's in
haven't
the box.
got to it
Okay.
yet. I'm hoping I can get to it this weekend and at least start playing with it. But yeah, I got Glenn's Sinding shotgun, and oh, I can't wait because we got to play with the prototype at Cleveland Gaming
We
Classic, and
did.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
It feels like in your hands. It feels like a real light gun on a real arcade machine. You know how they're heavy and made of like metal and hard plastic. And like compared to like a Fisher Price toy, like the Arcade1up light guns, right? Like wow. Like the quality at Cleveland was great. I can't wait to open it up, see if it's the same or if it's been changed in any way. But yeah, looking forward to that. Playing with that. I'm probably gonna hook it up with Retro Lizard's light gun box
Uh
because
huh.
that's a Sinden light gun box that I reviewed in the past. So that'll take me all of 2 minutes to plug that in and start playing. So
That's awesome. I'm trying to see if I can find. I'm trying to see if I can find Glenn's gun in my videos here.
mm, well, I know he put some videos on his channel. I feel bad. Glenn's really sick. He's not doing a show tonight.
Oh, really? He's not. Oh my goodness.
No, no, he texted me. I texted him. I said, "Hey, man." I texted him. I said, "Hey, man, thanks. The gun arrived," and he messaged me back. He goes, "I'm so sick, P Dubs. I can't even do a show tonight."
Oh wow, that's a
I was
bummer.
like, "All right, man, get better, bro.
I
Get
I
better."
know I have his gun because I played at
Yeah,
Cleveland. I know I have a video, but I can't find it.
yeah. So
But
Al
that's
Al
awesome. That's awesome.
looks like Al Avisman looks like he ordered one of those guns. Zero read is it redux or redo? How should we pronounce that zero? I swear I've been saying it both ways for 4 years. You got to let me know. Here I am asking 4 years too late. Yeah, it is expensive though. I think he's charging a few hundred for it, so
Yeah, I think
something
it's
like
like
that.
250 or so.
Yeah,
But that's in line with most other guns that you're going to get pretty close. And I don't think the
yeah.
quality is quite the same either
I
as
mean,
far
if
as
you buy gun for IR, you're paying a
you're
few
paying
hundred
more than
bucks,
that. Yeah, you're
more than
paying
that.
more.
If you
Right.
buy a Sinden gun, you're paying a couple $100. If
Yeah,
you
you're paying about the same.
buy a
And
retro shooter kit, you're paying a few $100, couple $100. So
yeah,
I mean,
so it's in par with the
yeah,
price of what those games are. And again, like we said, it's one of those things. Is it's not a need. You don't need any of those, but you want it, right? You want it, and you pay for
yeah.
what you want. As men,
Mm.
we pay for what we want, right? Um, and that thing,
Unless it's sent to you for the purpose of making a review.
yes, yes. And then there's bad men that get it other ways too, you
Yeah, right.
know. But good men, right?
Good
But
men.
that's great. I can't wait to
Um,
see. I can't wait to see that.
can
And
can I ask your chat right now if we talk a little bit about one of my childhood heroes tonight on Super Game Room Dudes? Would that be a bad thing? I really want to talk about Carl Weathers because you know uh, his passing today, terrible.
who is that now? I'm sorry.
Uh, Carl Weathers, Apollo
Oh, oh,
Creed.
oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Apollo Creed. He also played Dylan in Predator.
Yep.
He was in the Mandalorian TV show. Action Jackson, one of my
Hmm.
favorite
Hmm.
favorite action movies of all time that nobody else loved, but I loved it. I thought Action Jackson was
Yeah,
great.
it was a good movie. I like that.
It's hilarious if you watch it. How do you like your ribs before he blows the guy up? I mean, come on, that was great. Oh man, Action Jackson's such a good movie, especially when he's driving the car through the house and he's like hitting the gear shift. He's like hot, hotter, hottest, like the TV commercial for the sports car. And the whole movie's based on this guy who is like building, I think he's building another car company kind of, and it's like a spoof off of like DeLorean, right? Like a DeLorean spoof, but like if they were evil and stuff. And man, Carl Weathers, man, that broke my heart when I heard about that. Yeah, he's gone, guys. Yeah, he passed away.
I'll have
Um
to watch that movie this weekend.
and that's a shame. Um I've been waiting all day for someone to post that meme too soon. I've been waiting for it, but no one's done it yet. So that's good. I don't even want to mention it because then someone's going to do it. So, but the Dolph Lundgren Rocky Four meme. If he dies, he dies. Like I'm like some jackass on the internet's going to post that and be like too soon, but luckily they haven't done that. And what you call it? But I mean, what a great character in Predator. You know what I mean? He had a great story, character arc in Predator. The way he comes in and he's this sleazy CIA agent, and then by the end of the movie, he pretty much sacrifices himself to go try and save Mac and Dutch and the rest of them. Like, you guys go. You know what I mean? Like a great character turnaround. A guy who only cared about himself into a guy who became part of the team. It's not your style, Dylan. You know what I mean? So Action Jackson was great. Loved him in Predator, and also loved obviously who wouldn't love him as Apollo Creed. I mean
Mhm.
that was the role that really defined him, man. He was just incredible as Apollo Creed. And what's funny is I think it was in one of the later Rocky sequels we found out. How many of you guys remember Rocky 3? Remember Rocky 3 with Clubber Lang, right?
Mhm.
So during the movie, Apollo Creed tells Rocky, he's like, I will help train you, but you owe me a favor. And he keeps mentioning it during the whole training seasons, right? Training sessions. He's like, what favor, right? So Rocky goes, he fights Mr. T, Clubber Lang, he wins the title back, he's got the glory, he's got the fame, and then he finds out that the favor that Apollo wanted is he wanted the rubber match, because he won the first fight against Rocky and Rocky won. He won Rocky won the second fight in Rocky 2. But so the series is tied 1-1, right? The series is tied 1-1, and you find out that Apollo Creed was training Rocky to get the rubber match. And if you remember, right at the end, right before the final credits rolled, they're in the gym. You want to ring the bell? Ding, ding. And then they go at it, and then they roll credits, right? And I think it was in the I can't remember which one of the later Rocky movies, because there were a couple that came out after Rocky 4. The recent Rocky movies. I can't remember which one it was. Um, you find out that they mentioned about Apollo Creed. You find out that Apollo won that fight. So
Yes.
Apollo won the rubber match. So like Rocky revealed it when he's telling like someone a story about it. You know what I mean? He's like, I think someone asked him who won. He's like Apollo. So but yeah, man, that was great. Like the whole Apollo Creed character. I actually liked the Apollo Creed character more than I did the Rocky character because he just I don't know, he seemed like a little more modern of a Muhammad Ali. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? His character. So, but were you a big Carl Weathers fan, man? Like
I was.
I loved him, man. I loved
I
him.
was. I'm. I've always been that I. It's very difficult for me to rewatch anything I've seen before. So my memory fades on a lot. Like how you can call out particular scenes. I typically can't because it's been decades or years since I've watched just about any movie. It's just very. I'll sit down and start to rewatch something, and then I'll get distracted and won't ever watch it. But yeah, growing up, yeah, I remember all of his movies being something I definitely enjoyed watching.
Yeah. Action Jackson's underrated. I can tell you one thing, guys. You could probably rent it on Amazon Prime if you don't own it. You could stream it. One thing I'm doing this weekend during some of my downtime, Carl, I'm
Okay.
gonna stream Action Jackson. I'm gonna watch it.
Okay.
I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna watch it. Because I've seen Predator, Rocky all the time, but
Yeah, I'm gonna watch
Action
Action Jackson.
Action Jackson's a good movie, man. A lot of people
Well,
hate on it, but it was during the heyday of Beverly Hills Cop and Lethal Weapon and all these buddy cop movies, and it just
mm,
got kind of lost amidst the shuffle compared to all the other movies. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, if you're gonna watch it, you say you're gonna stream it.
Yeah, I'll
That
probably
you
stream it. I think we have the DVDs downstairs somewhere. We might have it on the shelf. If we don't have it on the shelf, I'm going to stream it. So yeah,
I'm just trying to see
my
how.
wife and I were actually thinking about getting rid of all our DVDs. We have like 1,000 DVDs, and we were thinking like this shit just takes up space.
Right, and how often do you actually go and pull them out?
Well, I'm thinking about burning them all onto like a PC that I'll connect to the TV, and then selling the DVDs or some shit, or
I
just
um
getting rid
I
of them.
I got rid of all my. I think most of my DVDs. I still have a handful, but I don't have any
Yeah,
like tree or anything. Remember, we used to have those cabinets and
yeah,
stands. No, I don't have any stands or anything.
yeah.
So I have a few, but I do have some Blu-rays. But I got into the Blu-ray real late because I was going to get the X, or was it PlayStation 3? Whenever they came out, I didn't get
Oh,
PlayStation 3 because it didn't have a DVD player, and end up getting the Xbox. But anyway, I delayed getting a Blu-ray because I was trying to determine what player I was going to get, and I ended up just getting a separate
mm-hmm,
a home entertainment center, with the
mm-hmm.
Blu-ray. Um, so I have a handful of really classic Blu-ray movies that I like, and I would watch those before I would watch a DVD. Um, though I do have in living color the series on DVD, and I will pull those out because they don't make TV like that anymore.
In Living Color, was that the one where there were a bunch of kids at college?
No, that was the Damon Wayans, Marlon Wayans, Jamie Foxx, Jim Carrey. Oh,
Oh, you're
it
talking
was
the Saturday Night Live type
yeah,
show, the
the
skit
live
show.
show,
I'm
skit
sorry.
show. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was
In
thinking
living
of
color, and
I
maybe
was
I said
thinking of
something
a
wrong. In living color,
no,
yeah,
no, that's the no, you were right. I was thinking of a different show.
yeah, yeah. So I have that.
Um
I have those series. I don't know if it's
yeah,
eight or nine seasons,
yeah.
whatever.
Jim Carrey doing the Vanilla Ice. I remember that skit.
Right,
Jim
the
Carrey doing
little
Fire
Fire
Marshal
Marshal
Bill.
Bill.
Let me
Right.
tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Yeah, that show is
Uh,
just crazy.
and I forget who it was. Who was the good lord? That's a lot of money guy. They did a bunch of skits with him. There was one guy who
More money, more money, more money. What's that?
there was one I forget what character was on the show, but they did a lot of repeated skits where they brought that character back, and they'd be like, "You want to buy this?" And they'll be like, "How much is it?" And I'll be like, "It's $5.99." And he'd be like, $5.99? Good lord, that's a lot of money. And then how about I give you 50 cents? You know what I mean? Like I can't remember. Was that Chris Rock? Was that Chris Rock?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Homie the Clown definitely was a
Yeah.
classic. Um,
Yeah. That's it. Homie the Clown. There you go. There you go. But yeah,
somebody said TP.
those are some of the things I can remember off the top of my head from
Okay.
that TV show.
Yeah, but that
So
show, you can't even do that show
yeah.
today because it would offend.
Yeah.
The cancel culture would get everybody fired
Yeah.
in every episode. So
And oh yeah, yeah. I mean, hell, you couldn't even do Married with Children anymore. Like Family Guy gets away with it because I think it's an animated
mhm,
cartoon. You know what I
mhm.
mean? But if Family Guy's like Married with Children
Right
on
on
steroids.
steroids, right, for sure.
And can you imagine if it was a live action show, it would get pulled so quick, you know?
Hmm.
But because it's cartoon, I think they're able to kind of get away with it. But yeah, with the culture we live in these days, man, jeez.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I mean,
Yeah.
I know you have to get the show set up. We going live in
Oh,
less than an
I
hour.
I
So
I set up while we're talking, but yeah, let's take a break, man, and
yeah,
we'll see you guys on Super Game Room, dudes. There's a lot of console news tonight. We'll talk a little bit about at games. I think something from New Wave Toys. It's not really a whole lot going on. So you know what? It's Friday night. We all hang out anyway on Friday. Even if the topics are light, the conversation will be full. So make sure you guys come on back, and we'll see you in Super Game Room, dudes.
Absolutely, guys. Hey, I appreciate you guys watching. And until next time, guys, I'll see you on the web.